Today we're going to talk about natural logs. The rules are all the same for natural logs as they are for logs of any other basis. The natural log of y is equal to x. We write it this way. Okay. ln stands for natural log. I don't know. So anyway, it's a base e. It's understood to be base e. They will not put it there, but it's understood to be base e. So if we write that in exponential form, it's going to be e to the x is equal to y. I may have my x and y switched around from what they have. No, I didn't actually. Okay, good. All right. So you just have to remember that it's exactly the same rules. The difference is it's base e, not base 10 or some other base. Okay? So natural logs have base e. All the other rules we've learned will apply. Okay? I want to look at example 3. I rarely do examples that are in the book, but we have natural log of 3x plus 5 squared equals 4. Example 3. Natural log of 3x plus 5 squared equals 4. In my notes, I wrote a note to myself to be very careful on how we approach solving this. Okay? It would be common to want to apply our rules, and so I want you to just watch. I'm going to do this wrong. Okay? I'm going to do it wrong. It's going to look good. It's going to be nice and neat and simple, and it's going to look great, but it's not going to give us all the answers. And I want to show you why it doesn't work. Okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is apply the rule with the exponent, which allows me to write it out front. Then if I divide both sides by 2, I get natural log of 3x plus 5 is equal to 2. Remember, don't write this down. This is wrong. Okay? And then what's the base? Right here, what's the understood base to be? E. So 3x plus 5 is equal to e to the second power. And so if I subtract 5 from both sides, I get 3x is equal to e squared minus 5. And if I divide both sides by 3, I get x is equal to e squared minus 5 over 3. And I could plug that in my calculator, round it off, and I get a number. Right? The problem with it is, way back up in here, that 2 represented a what? What did this 2 here represent? An exponent, right? A square. And whenever we solve equations that are squared, we should get how many answers? 2. And how many did I get here? 1. So in solving it this way, everything looks good. But we lose one of our numbers, okay? So I strongly recommend that we don't move that exponent out. I'm going to erase all this. And I'm going to do it the way they did it in the book. So now you can copy this down. This is going to be e to the 4th power is equal to 3x plus 5 squared. Okay? And now, what do I do to undo my squared? I square root both sides. And when I square root both sides, what kind of numbers do I get? A positive or a negative? And so square root of e to the fourth is just e to the second. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so now if I subtract 5, I get negative 5 plus or minus e squared equals 3x. And if I divide by 3, I'm just going to switch it around. X is equal to negative 5 plus or minus e squared over 3. So now when I plug that in my calculator, I'm going to get negative 5 plus e squared over 3 and negative 5 minus e squared over 3. And so I get two answers. What happened when I did it the first time is I lost my plus or minus here. That part where you would undo a square by using the square root, understanding that that square could be a positive, could be a negative, we weren't sure. Once we squared it, we got a different answer. So what's inside here could be a positive or a negative. We aren't sure which one. So that's why we have to put in the plus or minus over here. Okay? Now if you plug this into your calculator, either use parentheses or do all the top and hit equals before you divide by 3. Otherwise, it's going to divide before it adds, right? The calculator knows you divide before you add unless you tell it otherwise. So make sure you either go negative 5 plus e squared equals or use parentheses around your negative 5 plus e squared. And same thing down here with the negative 5 minus e squared. Okay? Any questions on those? All right. Everything else is the same as what we did before, except the base is different. Let's solve this one together. 4e to the 3x plus 1.2 equals 14. 4e to the, how many x did I say? 3x. I say plus or minus 1.2. One of us has to do a better job remembering. Plus 1.2 equals, I think I said 24, but maybe 2.4. No, how about 14? There we go. Neither. Okay, equals 14. Excuse me. So, what? Yeah. The key is we want to get this all by itself first. And so we're going to subtract 1.2. So I get 4e to the 3x is equal to 12.8. Then I divide both sides by 4. So e to the 3x is equal to 3.2. Okay? Now, remember like yesterday when we solve for an exponent, we have to take the log of both sides. Well, we can do this identical to yesterday if we want. We can go log of e to the 3x equals log of 3.2. But because it's a because the base is an e, natural log is the easiest way to go. So if I natural log both sides, what's the base here? Understood to be an e. Remember, whenever the base and that number are the same, the value of the whole log is equal to the exponent. So all this is 3x equals natural log of 3.2. And then if I divide by 3, I get x is equal to natural log of 3.2 divided by 3. The whole thing divided by 3, not just the 3.2. Now, unlike yesterday when we did it with the same base, we then had to apply the change of base formula or rely on our calculator to change the base for us. In this case, natural log base E is one of the features of our calculator. It's right there underneath LOG, right? And so we can just do this. X is about, louder please, 0.3877. I didn't say to round, it was my example. Yeah, they just rounded to 0.388. And in the examples in the book, they don't say where to round, so just 2 or 3 decimal places is fine. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop. The rest of the material is very, very similar to yesterday's. The only difference, again, is it's a different base. And because it's base E, we have a button on our calculator that allows us to do that. In today's lesson 6, 3 to 39 by 3s, that's only 13 problems, and then the checkpoint quiz.
No, we had checkpoint quiz yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's chapter 8 quiz, which we already took. Thanks, helping me out. So just those 13 problems, 3 to 39 by 3s.